All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Now, there is some criticism involving the Baltimore Orioles, and it has nothing to do with a team that has lost at least 100 games in 3 out of the last 4 years. During the offseason, the Orioles decided to move back the fences at Camden Yards in Baltimore, which has drawn the ire of some opposing players as well as Oriole players alike. Now, during this week's series against the O's, New York Yankees outfielder Aaron Judge hit a ball to left field that he felt was gone. But with the left field wall being pushed back 30 feet with a higher fence as well this season, Judge's 399-foot blast did not clear the wall. Now, Judge was critical of this as he felt that his ball would have been gone in the 29 other MLB parks. Judge is not alone as far as voicing his criticism of the adjustment at Camden Yards. The same can be said for Orioles outfielder Trey Mancini, who has been critical of the moves as well. Now, you think about it with a lot of the major sports, Major League Baseball is a lot different. And I say that because you can have a home court advantage, you can have a home ice advantage in the NHL, but it's a situation where you know what? The court in basketball, regardless if it's college or the NBA, it's still 94 feet. The same can be said as far as the actual length of a hockey rink. You know, with a football field, it's still 100 yards, but you know what? There still is a home field advantage aspect to it. You think back, especially in the heydays of the New York Giants and the Bill Parcells in the 1980s, they used the swirling winds at the Meadowlands to their advantage. You think about the winds in the cold of Soldier Field in Chicago or the cold of Lambeau Field in Green Bay. Those are definitely advantages for those teams. Same thing with the Seattle Seahawks, the way that that stadium was designed to keep the noise, raining down from the fans. And since that stadium is opened up, more opponents have had false starts at that stadium than any other stadium around the NFL. But, when you get to Major League Baseball, it's very quirky and it gives another element to the game. And I say that because all stadiums are not created equal. Some are dubbed as a pitcher's park, some are dubbed as hitter's parks. The dimensions down the right and left field lines are just different. Center field, right center, left center, you name it. So it adds an aspect to it. And you think about Wrigley Field, which is one of the few older stadiums that's still around. Of course, pitchers know, regardless if they're pitching for the Chicago Cubs or not, that if the flags are blowing out, it's going to be a long day for you. And of course, if the flags are blowing in at Wrigley, it's definitely to your advantage. You think about some of the now defunct stadiums around MLB, such as Candlestick Park in San Francisco and Shea Stadium in New York, where the winds were really tough on hitters and it, gave the advantage definitely to the pitchers. Now, the current MLB players would have a hard time, if they played in such some of the older parks, as far as the polo grounds. The polo grounds center field there was well over 400 feet, and the original Yankee Stadium pre renovation in the early 1970s was the same way. Of course, anybody who's old enough to remember Monument Park at the old Yankee Stadium was actually in play. So, things around baseball, the fences are a lot shorter, closer rather. And, a lot of the stadiums have turned into bandboxes. But at the end of the day, franchises should be allowed to build a park and have the dimensions around the team based on what they want to have. You think about the San Francisco Giants, and in the decade of the 2010s, they were able to win 3 World Series championships in a 5 year span. And they did that primarily on pitching. Why? Because Oracle Park is a pitcher's park. You look at the deep cavern, if you would say the least, out there in right center field. Left-handed hitters have a very hard time hitting home runs consistently out of that park, and that definitely is to the advantage of the pitchers. You think about when Minute Maid Park was originally open for the Houston Astros with Tiles Hill out there, and that was an advantage definitely for the home team. And of course, Tiles Hill is no longer there, but nonetheless, you build a park to your advantage. I think this is something where hitters definitely are going to have to adjust when they go to Camden Yards, just like they have to adjust at different parks that they don't play in consistently. One thing is for sure that we can go to the bank on: you have never heard an opposing pitch or hitter, or any hitter for that matter, ever complain about playing at Coors Field in Colorado because of the thin air in the Rocky Mountains. The ball naturally travels. So unfortunately, these players nowadays, they've gotten accustomed to the bandboxes, the smaller parks, but at the end of the day, they're simply just going to have to suck it up at Camden Yards, because this is not going away anytime soon. The Orioles had the right to make this adjustment. They did what is best for their team, and we'll take it from there. But nonetheless, from the Yankees' sake, Aaron Judge, obviously he's ticked off about that home run, but nonetheless, the Yankees, unlike last year, they're taking care of their business against the Orioles so far this season. And with that said, they're not letting it slow them down. So let's see how hitters around the American League adjust to this. Let's see how the Baltimore Orioles do with this going forward. But different ballparks with different dimensions just adds another aspect and another element to the term home field advantage in baseball. So folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take the time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'll be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. You can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I am signing off, saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.